Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Elevating Your Life. Paula Vail here. I am just so excited today to share with you this fantastic guest. We have with us today Faust Ruggiero. He has a professional career that spans almost 40 years. He has consistently established cutting-edge counseling programs in pursuit of professional excellence and personal life enhancement. He is a published research author, clinical trainer, and a therapist who has worked in settings that have included clinics for abused women, prisons, nursing homes, substance abuse centers, businesses, and major corporations, and inpatient facilities. He continues to provide counseling services for veterans, first responders, law enforcement, and other emergency personnel, and businesses and corporations, nationally and internationally. That is so awesome. A big thank you, Faust. And today we're going to talk about his book, The Fix Yourself Handbook. It has received the Gold Award from Literary Titan, the Silver Award from Nonfiction Authors Association, and the Bronze Award from Reader's Favorite. I'm so happy to have you here today, Faust. Welcome.
Paula, thanks so much for inviting me. It is a pleasure to be here with you today.
Oh, just an honor. Well, let's begin. Tell us what triggered you to write this book, the Fix Yourself Handbook, and kind of, give us some ideas of what the reader can gain from that.
Yeah. Paul, like all of us, I've read the books over the years. I've been doing counseling for a long time. And what I saw, and what I thought was missing in self-help literature was an actionable program. This is what we do in counseling. People come in, they present us with what's happening. We try to get to the bottom of things, but when they leave the counseling experience, and this is every time they go, they should have something to work on. What am I doing? So when I wrote the book, and the first book had 36 chapters of all different problems that people experience, I wanted them to understand each of those problems, but then at the end of the chapter, I wanted to provide 5 or 6 or 7 different action steps they can take. Okay, so you got the information, now do this. If you do these things, things are going to get better. So I wanted to introduce that into the literature a little bit more prominently.
Yeah, and that really is a huge thing to give us step-by-step processes that we can just start doing in our lives. And what have you seen over the years, how the difference it's made for others?
Well, in the counseling experience, it's what I typically will get. Often people will have been to 2 or 3 counselors before they get to one that works. And when they get to me, they'll say, well, why didn't the last 1 or 2 tell me, let's do these things? They weren't dynamic enough, they thought. And a lot of counselors have a philosophy that says, well, I don't tell them what to do. They should come onto that themselves. I just provide them with the information. That's great. And in the old days, that worked a little better, but this world moves so fast, but while we're sitting and listening and just letting it all flow, more and more problems, tend to enter someone's life. So I just felt, let's get in there and let's be a little more dynamic. I don't tell them what they have to do, but I do say, based upon the information that you gave me, these things are what's probably going to work for you. In the book, I just followed suit. I wrote the book to really kind of simulate being in a counseling experience. You come in, you present us with one problem. I'm having problems in my marriage. Of course, now after we're in and we're talking for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe depression came in, maybe substance abuse was there, someone had anxiety, you're people pleasing, what have you, and we want to attack all those things. That's what's in the first book. It's kind of the flagship book, if you will. It teaches, how to use all the processes. And I have about 52 of those processes in the book. And then the second book, the Fix Your Anxiety Handbook, takes that same design, short chapters, gets people to understand what anxiety is all about and how it works inside a person and how to begin to alleviate it step by step. It's that step-by-step process that people have been looking for.
Yes, yes. Please take a moment and kind of, share that with us, maybe a brief description of what anxiety is about. And does anxiety affect us physically, Faust?
That is the primary place it affects people. And this is why, people will have an anxiety attack or something leading up to it, or they'll say, I have anxiety all the time. I don't want to leave the house, all those kinds of things. And I always tell them, you've got to start with it physically first. It's really a physical condition, but it works its way through the emotions and into the intellect. And before you know it, your whole spirit is affected, and you give up. And this is who I am. And this is what the initial message I tell people. It's a physical condition, and it's not who you are, it's what you have. And if you make that who you are, then your attempts to try to kill it off, so to speak, you're really attacking yourself. So stop going there and stop making this who you are. And I wrote the book. I call it the anxiety demon. It's the demon inside you, so to speak. I want them to understand that it is what you have. It's not who you are. And if you attack it that way and use the program I put in front of you, I've never, ever seen anyone fail on this yet.
I love that. I love that. It's not who you are, it's what you have.
Sure,
And
it gives you a
take
chance to
steps.
like and love yourself better. You can say, you know what, I'm still a good person. I still do great things, but this thing keeps happening to me. It affects my body. Then my emotions get all wrapped up in it. Then I can't think clearly anymore. That's what's happening. That's not who I am. That's this thing I have.
Yes, yes. And I would think that would enable us to, okay, this is something I have. I can take steps to release it and get it out of my life.
Exactly, because you're ridding yourself of a condition. And at the very least, we want to get it manageable. That doesn't mean that you won't have some anxiety, but as you go through life, little by little, you learn how to get up every day and not say, hope I'm not anxious today, or here comes the anxiety. Your mindset changes. You get up and you start saying, let's embrace the day. The whole day is a gift. And if I change my mindset, I can embrace those gifts. I'll experience a completely different life. My happiness will finally start to appear. But I can't be happy if I'm saying this is me and I'm going to be that way for the rest of my life. There's no hope. It'll never change. I have to deal with it. No, you don't. There's any condition can be altered, can be alleviated. We just have to find the steps to do that. That's all I'm providing.
And that is so exciting to know that we don't have to be stuck with something, stuck with that anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety is not a life sentence. Again, here's what happens. The anxiety, it's triggered, it's physical. But what happens now, it begins to move its way through the emotions and the intellect. And now what do? Because you don't know how to get it out of your body, you start trying to think of ways to do it, or you try to say, well, that's what made me anxious. That thing out there, that's not it. That triggered things. As soon as it triggered, your body took over. And your nervous system, now being beaten up by this every day, doesn't have much in the way of defenses. So I always tell people, we attack it physically first. And while we're doing that, I tell them, try not to react to it, try not to say, oh my God, it's here again, and here I go, and I know just what's going to happen, because then you're going there. Mm-hmm. Just simply say, I'm going to continue. It's not me. It's not my brain. My brain is just fine. It is this thing that my body deals with. Yeah. But of course, my brain is a physical organ, so it's connected. I teach them about the body-mind relationship, so they understand how, the messages that have to go back and forth between the brain and all the various systems in the body. So they understand that that's why you're thinking about this. But the bottom line is, it's physical, and we attack it there first, not only, just first.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say if a lot of our anxiety is what we feel is caused by someone outside us, whether that's, verbal abuse or an environment or whatever. So was that really, it's outside of us, but it's our choice on how we react to it and what we let it trigger?
It's a trigger. And what it does, it without us realizing, it kind of turns on the anxiety switch in the body. And before you know it, it's a full-blown panic attack, or it's I can't think, and I feel this horrible way. I want to cry. I want to curl up in bed. I don't want, get away from me, or whatever it is that people do. It's only a trigger. And I want to teach them how to get to the point that you can control that. Internal language is a huge part of this. Here it comes. I can't do this. It's going to happen. Well, okay, what did you just say? I have no tools, and I'm not going to use them. And I know it's going to defeat me at the end of the day. The battle is over. You're done. Versus, okay, this is physical. I know it's physical. It doesn't feel good. It feels horrible, but it's physical. And if I continue to do what I have to do, little by little, I'm going to gain control over this. And that's a whole different internal way to look at this. I teach them how to build a support network, because you want that. Anxiety makes you feel like you're all alone. I'm the only one like this. No one will understand how I am. If I explain it, they say things like, come on, get over it. You can beat this. So they don't know. So no matter what anyone tells them, they believe it's going to be a failure for them. I teach them how to build a network, professionals, family that we will educate so they understand what anxiety is all about. So now when you talk about it, they're not saying the wrong things. They know what questions to ask. They know how to be there for support. So we build all these components into this, and it typically are things that are not in the person's life. What's in their life is whatever the trigger is. And you're right, it could be verbal abuse. It could be that spouse that does that, the job, the money, the kids are having this problem, whatever it may be. But the bottom line is, I always tell them, haven't you noticed some people don't seem to grab anxiety and lose their day over it, and some people do? It's physical. Those people who don't get that, their bodies didn't engage. Wow. And if their mind got it, their body didn't get it. And for anyone with anxiety, once you get into the worriment and you get into the obsessive thinking and, oh my God, what's going to happen? If you stop a moment and say, what does my body feel like? You're going to realize you want to jump out of your skin just about that at that moment. So that's what I want them to understand. It's physical. And I train them how to react differently. I always teach this concept of intellect over emotion. Not that you can't emote, but let's use our brains first. Let's not react to something. Let's get the facts. Let's start building a way to deal with this. We'll emote down the road, and our emotions at that point will be more healthy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. So would you say by creating a habit of changing our internal language and what we say to ourselves is gonna take steps for us to change how we react, and also where our body goes?
Sure.
With that.
And I get that asked a lot, and people will say, well, how do I know that it will work? And I say, well, let's just stop a minute. You have been training your brain with negative energy for so long, and your brain learned it, didn't it? And then they'll look and they'll say, yeah. I said, okay, if we reverse the process and you start training it with positive verbalizations to yourself, do you think that same brain might just learn the positive and it'll start working with that energy? You've already proven that the brain can learn. And learning is only repetition over time. That's all it is. You present something over and over again. There's a thing in psychology we call habit formation or normalization. The brain just keeps seeing it over and over again, and eventually it accepts it. There's no fight for it anymore. So you keep on doing it. You stay with the program. You've proven yourself through your negativity that your brain will do this because that's what you told it to do. Now tell it to do something else, but keep on doing it.
Yeah. And isn't that really absolutely fantastic and exciting that we can start creating those new brain habits and language, and after a while we won't even have to work hard on it because it'll be automatic.
I teach a concept called living on autopilot. What the initial response, the example I just gave you, the negative was autopilot. It's just there. We see it, autopilot hits in and we go negative. But you're right, as you train yourself, you go through the training period, it becomes more and more automatic. And your new autopilot way of living now is positive energy. So yeah, we will get there. We just have to keep on doing it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And in your book, you have are a lot of the steps in this practice, in this procedure. What else? What are some of the other steps you discuss in your book?
Well, again, I want them to understand the relationship between their body and their mind. I want them to understand how you start with anxiety and you feel like it's taking you prisoner, but through all the negative things you're doing, as you keep feeding the anxiety, you are now really putting yourself in your own prison. You really are, because the anxiety comes on and you go right into emotion. This is who I am. Now you're abusing yourself and you don't even realize it. So it's that old adage we all talk about. There's the angel here and the devil here. Pick which one you want to feed. Anxiety is that demon. If you keep on doing things like not sleeping properly, not putting the proper nutrition into your body, going too fast, pumping your body with accelerants like all these energy drinks and things like that, which of course feed anxiety. You keep doing all these negatives, you'll feed that demon, and that demon gets strong. The next thing you know, you're really part of the problem yourself. So I want to teach them how to get all the negatives out. And I do that in the initial going. Before we make any positive changes, I say, let's get all the negatives out first. How much coffee or espresso are you having every day? And almost always people with anxiety will come in and they're putting too much caffeine in their bodies. Caffeine is a stimulant. Anxiety is a natural stimulant for the body. Doesn't calm us down. It accelerates everything. So if you want that to stop, why would you put all the sugars and the drinks like that?
That
Alcohol,
makes sense.
all those things. We try.
Really, when we're relaxed and content, we're relaxed and content. We're not hyper from caffeine.
Right.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, and the other thing is, there are the basics, the general concepts that go with anxiety, but then I always tell people there's your anxiety, and that's sitting in your body, which is maybe different from this person's, which is why some medicines work for some people, some don't. The body's physiology is not all our body's physiologies are the same. So we want to develop a program that is specific to whatever your anxiety is all about. And I do that with people too. So we give them the general pieces to the puzzle, but then we sit back and say, okay, let's look at you. Let's find out where yours is coming from. Let's talk about your body. I get them to a doctor for a physical workup. We do the blood work, all those kinds of things. I want to know as much as I possibly can. Then we're going to attack this from a variety of different directions.
Yes, I love that, because each one of us is a unique person.
Right.
And it's different for everyone. So can my audience reach out to you and get personal counseling, or what do you recommend?
Sure. I mean, I always believe that, the personal one-on-one is the best, but everything's changing in counseling these days. So we do a lot online. So, I mean, I do accept people, just go to my website and there's a contact link there and the information if people want to get involved with me, and I'm pretty good about returning calls and information, those types of things. So if people have questions, they just need to go to the website, faustruggiero.com, and I'll answer any questions they have.
Wonderful. So they can go to your website, reach out to you through that, get a copy of your book. Do you see yourself doing another book after this book?
Well, we turned this into a series after the Fix Yourself Handbook came out and the design was so successful, we decided that we're going to turn this into a series. So I think that we're talking 6 or 7 books when it's all said and done. This one now, the Fix Your Anxiety Handbook is here. We're going to follow this up with either one on depression or discrimination. We're talking relationships and how to deal with kids. There's a lot of different things, but there'll be a handbook on when it's all said and done. I think it's going to be 6 or 7 books.
Oh, that is so fantastic. That is so fantastic. And what's so wonderful is these books and what you're sharing can help in so many different avenues, different reasons why people are feeling stress and anxiety.
Yeah, it never just comes from one source. And again,
Yeah.
the world goes fast, and often we're dealing with 3 or 4 or 5 things at one time. It's not like the old days, when you and I were young, things were much simpler at that point. The young people today don't have it that way. We knew a lot more about what we wanted to do. There weren't all the choices, all this accelerated pace. Information processing wasn't. You still typed on old typewriters. I mean, we went to the
Yes,
library to
I
find what
remember.
we needed. Now they press a button and everything's in front of them. So it goes very fast. So there's a lot of ways a lot of good things that come about it, but there's also a lot of ways for anxiety to enter your life.
Yes, yes. And these tools that you share, that can help us with what we have going on around us, family, friends, but it can share with us what we got going on in business, work environment, so many different areas.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up. Businesses are using it. Sports teams are using it. The initial book. I have people that will email me and say they're using it for their marriages because the chapters are 6 or 7 pages, so you can read that within an hour. And then husbands and wives are reading a chapter, separately, and then coming together and working on the steps together. So there's a lot of nice applications that people are coming back to me with.
Oh, this is so fantastic. Oh, this is such a gift for so many people. Oh my gosh. And I can imagine what it's been like for you all these years, with the work you're doing and helping others. I just want to say a big heartfelt thank you, Faust.
Oh, I appreciate that. But the thanks comes when you sit down with the people and you're in your office and you're just with them. Everything you need is right there.
Yeah.
We don't always see the finished product. Years later, every now and then I'll see someone. They say, "Hey, thanks for that," and we're still together and we're still doing well. It's nice to hear.
Yes, yes. Oh, I can only imagine how wonderful that is. Oh my gosh. Well, with about 4 minutes left in the show, what last words do you want to share with everyone today, Faust?
Paul, I used to kind of think about that and try to apply it to whatever we were talking about in an interview. But it all comes down, I think, to the same message that I give now, which is stop looking for yourself outside of yourself. Everything you need, you already have. You just need to go learn and how to uncover all that. Go find it, go use it. We're all looking how to find something out there to define ourselves. We're going to go find the person that we are. No, we're going to create the person that we are. And we have all that power inside us, but we've given it away. We've, that herd mentality, follow the crowd, do what the crowd is doing, make sure everybody likes us, connect to and stay connected. Everything. We're here for as long as we've been on this earth. So the earth has given us everything that we need, and we've been strong enough to survive. What would make us think we have to go outside of ourselves to do anything? All the power is already inside. You just have to learn how to use it. That's all.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I have to say, I have considered writing a book called I Am Not My Car.
Yeah, exactly.
Because so much out there can be, well, I'll be happy when I accomplish that. I'll be happy when I get that done. But the happiness is here. It's already.
Yes, it is. Life is a journey, and every single day is what you plug into. I only have control of what we're doing right now. This is the interview. I'm talking to you. When I'm done, I'll move to the next thing and the next thing after that. If I'm going to wait for that destination come, when that happens, I'll be happy. It may not even be what I thought it was going to be like when I get there. I may not even get there. I may choose not to go somewhere along the line. Yeah. It's just a lot of energy put in places that don't exist, but in past or future, they don't exist. it's going nowhere. It's just like taking a glass of water and dumping it out. There's no use for it.
Yes.
Stay where you are, make the moment you're in feel good. The moment feels good if you feel good about you, and you feel good about you when you learn how to go in and access all the gifts, which, by the way, all of us have.
Yes, yes. And I've always found it fascinating to just say, I just say yes to positive manifestation and joy and manifestation in my life. And if I'm so focused on this, I may not be open to something that's going to come my way that is
Yeah.
10 times better.
Exactly.
It's so wonderful. Oh my gosh. Well, Faust, please share with everyone your website one more time, and that where they can get a copy of the book. And I am just so grateful to have had you here today.
That's a pleasure. As far as contacting me, my website is the place, www.faustruggiero.com. It's my name. The book is, both books are explained there. The website is dedicated to the empowerment series. So it's really all you're finding there. A little bit about me, but you'll find everything you need. Even excerpts from the books are there, so you get an idea of what it's like to read the book, and then does it apply to me, kind of thing. So by all means, stop by. Have any questions? The contact link is there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, here is it to a day of empowering ourselves.
There we go.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us today. This was so great.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate the invitation.
You are so welcome. Love, hugs, and blessings. And to everyone out there, love, hugs, and blessings. I appreciate you so much. And happy Empowering Ourselves Day. Goodbye, everyone.